Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat. We are live in studio, and as always, we're going to jump right into our first guest. He is a CrossFit trainer at the Combine, known as one of the best gyms in Las Vegas. He's pretty young, but he has a lot of passion for health and fitness. So everyone, please welcome Xavier Laren. Hi, how are you? Please take a seat. Yes, hugs. Please take a seat. Great hair.
Thanks.
I love to see it. So thank you for being on the show. I know that this technically isn't your realm of work, but thank you for coming here.
A little bit.
So you guys, we actually share a space with the Combine, which is a gym here, and so I've seen passing a lot of the trainers. We even had the owner, Kobe, here on one of the previous episodes. So thank you. I know I've heard a lot about you. So first and foremost, you are 29, correct? So you're pretty young, and then you've been training for around 10 years. So tell us a little bit about your start and your journey into health and fitness.
Okay, deep breath. So which camera do I look at? So about 10 years ago, gosh, out of high school, I didn't really know much of what I wanted to do with my adulthood. I was kind of a people pleaser, so to please mom, I went to college. It was okay, you learned some stuff, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So a good buddy of mine got in an accident, and it kind of humbled me. It got me asking questions all right, quit playing around, life is kind of short, you never know what's going to happen. What do you want to do? So kind of in the background growing up, I just played different sports. Every summer it was soccer or baseball or lifeguard camp, just something different. So I knew being physically active was just something that I've always done. It's always just been practiced. And I wasn't the best at it, but I had fun with my friends. It was just something that we could go practice or just go do. So there was a lot of sports in the background. Moving back to what I wanted to do, I just wanted to be a little more comfortable in my adult skin. Growing up was just one thing, but transitioning into adulthood, I felt like I did all this homework and all of this studying to kind of just dial it back in the adult world. A lot of people don't really care about that stuff if you go work at a Starbucks or if you go work retail or if you any other job. That stuff that you really focused on in school, it just doesn't really come back. So I was looking for something that it was what have I been doing kind of my whole life that I wouldn't mind sharing with other people, and you never know, you might get paid for it.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of got into training and coaching. I wasn't always the biggest or the fastest or the whateverest, but a lot of my friends would call me athletic, so it was pretty cool. It was a good start. And growing up, sometimes we forget how to play sports because we get caught up in the rat race. A lot of my friends, now they have regular jobs, so we're not playing sports anymore. We're more, growing up and paying bills and not really using our bodies as much as we potentially could, depending on what you like. So the last 10 years has just been surrounding myself with a bunch of energies and a bunch of just overall knowledge of how to use my body and how to share that with other people. Because everybody has so many different goals, so many backgrounds, so many walks of life. You can't really one-size-fits-all training, so it's a pretty cool part. I can't really get bored of it. You meet so many different people all the time that you get to learn so many walks of life, so many previous injuries, so many sports that people used to play. And my job now is to find habits that sort of give them that taste of what they used to do, but in a more modern sense. We have jobs, we have kids and families to raise. So that's kind of how I bridge exercise into the adult world. It's pretty cool learning, a lot of the people, they would play a sport growing up for 20 years and, they have kids or they get that dream job, and for the next 10 years, they don't do it. So I find out that they're amazing at this skill. And I'm where the heck was this? And they're oh yeah, I used to do that 10, 15 years ago. And I'm what happened? So it's kind of cool hearing everybody's story and how we can re-plug it back in a little bit. Because it's one thing that people come at us with, they want to be their past self, which is cool and all, but we're in a modern time where there's so much new cool updated technology and information that like this new potential version of ourselves, it's definitely way cooler than any past self.
Right.
Keeps us in the present working, because that's also part of it. You got to show up every day in the present and work. You can't really talk about training and expect results. It's doing has a really big role in it, so that's pretty cool too.
So did you grow up here? Were you born and raised here?
Yeah, I'm a native.
So you're a native.
Totally.
It's very rare that we have one of those.
Yeah,
natives.
born and raised. Love it.
What did you actually study though when you did go to school?
Gosh, so the first major that I was working for to people please for mom was social work.
Okay.
So some type of helping people. I knew that I wanted to like get knowledge, helpful knowledge to the masses. That was my start. And I knew that I wanted to like make my mom happy and go to college. So at the time, that's what filled in both.
Okay.
But when I got there, it's a very interesting field, social work. You do learn about multiple types of people, but it's very different walks of life than what I experienced through physical activity. I think physical activity is where I can relate better to other people, and that's just what came out. Even when I was studying, I would like play intramural sports over in college or play with my friends. So yeah, I was doing the school thing, but in the background, the thing that was keeping me stimulated and keeping me, you know, friendly and happy-go-lucky was using my body and like sharing that with people, whether it's playing with your friends, because I grew up riding bikes and playing catch in the street. So for sure, my siblings, they're on the tail end of that. They didn't really play outside too much. Mom kept them a little more inside. They had a little more video games. So it's pretty cool to be on that tail end of like kids that played in the cul-de-sac. And I want to just, that's my vibe with training. We're all kids that played in the cul-de-sac, so it's all in there. So by that, everybody can potentially train and find something that they like to play.
Yeah. And so you basically just love people in general, and then you kind of just blended the way of meeting people, helping people, expanding your knowledge in a way where you're matching it with physical activity. So that's kind of, I believe, what I'm getting at, you finding yourself in that way. So my next question is, why CrossFit? Because I'm sure you have a lot of different avenues of what to train.
Yeah.
There's so many different, workouts, exercise people do, yoga, Pilates, weightlifting, all that stuff. But CrossFit's completely a little different.
Totally.
And a little more intense than a lot of the others. So how did you get to choose CrossFit in particular?
So, man, after I came back from trying out school, I was just kind of working like, not dead-end jobs, but just little chill jobs. I worked over at Tilly's, the clothing store. I worked at Starbucks for a little bit. So I got a customer service background, and that taught me a little bit more about like people. So that helped along the way. And I had a couple of good buddies at those jobs that like talked about CrossFit. So I played sports and stuff, and anybody that's been on the internet has probably seen like a video for CrossFit. It looked pretty intense, but I'm a little more nerdy with it. I had seen some of the more like backstory videos, like they're up and coming. They're more educational videos. They have the glamorizing, competitive, like really buff people videos, and then they have the more informational, like learning stuff type videos. So I watched a bit of both, and I tried CrossFit in 2014. So it was cool and all, but I wasn't really competitive. I'm just trying to pay bills. I'm just trying to, do something and help people. So the competitive aspect, it kind of turned me away from it. Like I had a bunch of like grown men trying to compete with me. And I'm like, I'm just learning this stuff, you guys. I don't know it. I don't want to race you guys. Yeah. So that was my first experience of CrossFit. So after I did 2 years at that gym, just learning the moves, because they had really cool coaches. The coaches were really cool if you know how to speak up and be like, hey, can you help me with this? Can you spend a little time with this? I was one of those kids that stayed after class to get extra help. Like, same thing. So with my training, I got pretty nerdy with it. And then there came a point where I like moved. So I found a really smaller, like a really small gym that had the same equipment as a CrossFit gym. But I didn't really like race or do CrossFit. I just spent a really long time working at Starbucks and then practicing my moves. So along the way, I've had 5 different trainer certifications. I still have 3 of them. That's just the ones that got me the job are the ones that I kept here. It's been a little bit more about who you know as far as like training and gym. I think Las Vegas in general. It's a little bit
absolutely,
who you know.
Absolutely. It's a smaller city.
It's cool. It's definitely cool, but gosh, after about 5 years of working at Starbucks and practicing the moves, I felt the confidence enough to be like, all right, let's keep people safe and teach them the moves. Because that's the goal, business and like human to human. If you keep people safe, they get it. They're like, oh, they got my back. For the business end, if you keep people safe, dude, they keep coming back. If you hurt somebody, if you injure somebody, then they can't make it. They got to pay for their injury, all the stuff that happens. So my forefront with being a coach, teach people safe moves first and then learn about them. Because I'm not going to teach you something if you don't want to learn about it or if you don't know anything about it. I'm going to find something that you're somewhat familiar with and then see if we can build up off of it or see if we can learn more.
Yeah. So how many people are you coaching now?
Over here at the Combine, I have 4 classes. Each class can go from 8 to 15 people.
Okay.
On the weekends, we have classes, same thing, 8 to 15 people. In the last 10 years, probably in the thousands. It's pretty cool how it adds up over 10 years. But it's cool. You learn a lot of different walks of life, different goals, just different communication styles. I give a lot of credit to Starbucks. You meet so many walks of life there.
You have to learn how to talk to people and work with people because everyone that's going to come in is going to be different. They have a different purpose of why they want to do CrossFit. Some want to look a certain way. Some just want to be fit. Some's trying it out to see if it works for them, right? So you have to, again, sell too at that point. So what brought you to the Combine in particular to work with Kobe?
It's pretty cool. When you had him here on the podcast last time, it was a slightly different situation, but now we're actually transitioning from the term CrossFit.
Okay.
We are moving more toward a term, it's called functional training.
Okay.
So functional, being able to pick stuff up, put stuff down without any pain. That can mean so many things to so many people. Training, anything, any sport, any activity that involves moving your body. So that's what we're moving towards, functional training. Okay. Just because the term CrossFit, we love it. It's our roots. I'm always going to give props to the roots. But a lot of people, when they hear the term CrossFit, it's a little skeptical. They think they're going to have to race or have to do something a little bit aggressive.
It's very intense and it's very aggressive.
Yes.
Because I've done it in
totally.
the past. Yeah.
So the Boss Man recently, and I'm totally on board with it because I'm a regular person. If I wanted to race, I would have started that stuff when I was like 6 years old. But no, I don't want to race people. It's like I want to help people not be in pain.
Yeah.
So that's what we do here. We teach people how to safely lift stuff, how to safely push themselves with their cardio. After learning their goals, of course, everybody has so many different goals. We take those goals and then we create workouts that can hit a good majority of, if not all of their goals.
Yeah. So is there a specific client that you had that really sticks with you, that was a great inspirational story, that really the transformation was a certain way, or it kind of moved you to continue to do what you do?
So it was less a client, but like my first really physically active best friend. So when we were both 18, he got in a bad accident, and it left him in a wheelchair. So growing up with this dude from 8 to 18, I saw him. He blossomed, man. He got all the chicks. He did all the jock stuff. He was that dude. And at 18, we're both doing our thing, but he gets in his accident. Just like that. All that stuff that I looked up to him for, that, was considered amazing, it just gets taken. No bad on anybody, no whatever. Life happens, but that humbled me, and I was like, holy crap, if something like that could happen to such an amazing person, somebody that I really looked up to like that, we're all humans. I just gratefully zipped my lip, and then I just asked myself, what do I like doing? I like helping people like use their body because you know it could change real quick. It could change real quick.
So do you have, what is your goal from now? So do you plan on continuing this for a long period of time to expand, to kind of one day open your gym? Like what are your, what's your end goal looking like for you?
Right now, I'm still in the practice, if not getting to perfect practice phase. Because it's like you read a lot of literature and you see a lot of stuff that's like, all right, mastery, it takes years to perfect your craft. You know, Olympic athletes have been working on it since they were little kids. Professionals have been working on it for 10 plus years. I'm just getting to 10 years this year. So I'm just very curious. It's pretty cool. At 19, I knew way less. 10 years later, I know way more. I'm just real curious what another 10 years could like teach me, or what like I could learn and surround myself with like cool people. This was a pretty cool out of nowhere experience. So
you're just going with the flow, basically, is kind of how you're doing
and
it.
Helping people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
You get paid to help people. You get paid to help people.
Okay,
if
so
you know, some people are lucky.
Yeah, so that's your whole vibe, and we're all here for it. So if there's anything that you're going to tell somebody, so some of you are going to be watching, they're going to say, why the combine? Right? When I'm going to this Pilates gym, I like the people are like this, like, I want to try something different.
Yeah.
Why here? Why training with you guys? What kind of do you feel is more of a benefit, and what is your really big selling point to somebody that would kind of take that leap and kind of switch up whatever that they're doing, maybe whatever they might be thinking is working for them? Like, why here?
So this gym, from the first time I took a class here, from the first time I like shadowed a class here to when the boss let me run my own class here, gosh, the boss has been pretty close. He's not a micromanager, but he's in the area. If you have questions, please let me know. So he set a pretty good tone for that I can like come in and learn and practice. I asked him, hey, can I shadow here? I've been a member for about a year. And he said, yeah, your moves look pretty good. You practice what you preach, you know, you don't injure yourself. Let's give it a shot. So he gave me my chance. And what we offer here that's a little bit different from other gyms is, I call it a pressure-free environment to learn. Because, you know, training, I think overall, a lot of people, it comes off as a little bit more of a scary thing. Not a lot of people wake up and they're like, I want to go work out. So over here, our big selling point, we take away the pressure of it. This is going to be the most constructive hour of your day. Like, you work, yes, but here for that 1 hour, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn how to keep your core tight. You're going to learn how to safely move, how to safely pick something up. You're just going to learn how to safely age a little bit more gracefully.
Okay.
It's a little bit to digest, but aging gracefully, pain-free. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. So it's pain-free, guys, and I guess pressure off. Like, that's the selling point that I'm understanding from Xavier here. So you guys, if you're looking for a CrossFit but not CrossFit, more of the foundation of it, and you just kind of want to try it out, then obviously the Combine is a pressure-free place to try those things. But I do have one more question, and I ask this of every single guest that I have because it kind of sums up the person in its entirety. Is there a philosophy that you live by?
Just breathe and learn something new. Just be open to it. I used to overthink stuff, but no. Just breathe, learn something new, and be open to it.
Okay. So it's a very go with the flow guy, right? So I'm sure like it's giving a lot of West Coast. This is your vibe, and there's nothing wrong with that. But but the great thing about your answer is that it really does kind of, like I'll repeat, sum up the whole interview. It kind of identifies you as a person, what your goals are, and how you kind of navigate life. And it's so interesting because after everyone has gotten to know you, you answer this one question, and it kind of just is like, it matches up, right? Because a lot of people, they'll say they do A, B, C, D, D, and then they say the philosophy. They're just like, right? Right, and so that's kind of why we're here, and we're kind of inspiring people. So everyone, Xavier, he's here at the Combine on Tenaya. If you are in Las Vegas, please look it up. There's a sign right outside that says, join the best gym in Las Vegas. It's literally right there when you're driving down the street.
Thanks,
So
you
everyone,
guys.
Xavier, everybody, he's here. He loves any physical activity, loving helping people through getting you moving, getting you here, healthy, safe, all of the above. So everyone, round of applause for Xavier. And then when we come back, we're going to switch the realms again. And she was an athlete, so I guess this is going to kind of be our little theme. There's always randomly a theme for all of my episodes. So we're going to go from a trainer to an ex-gymnast. So it's going to be absolutely amazing, guys. So make sure you do not go anywhere so we can meet our next guest.